Hello and welcome back. I'm really glad you're here. Today I want to talk about something I've been reflecting on a lot lately, and that's where Google Ads is heading in 2025 and whether it's still a good option for service-based businesses like yours. If you've been wondering whether now is the right time to invest in Google Ads, or maybe you've tried it before and felt like it just swallowed your budget without too much to show for it, you're not alone. I've been having more of these conversations lately, and I think it's time for a gentle, honest look at what's changing. This episode isn't a sales pitch, and it's not a scare tactic either. It's just the truth from someone who's been in the trenches with this platform for years. I want to give you a clear view of how Google Ads is evolving, and most importantly, what that means for you as a business owner trying to make smart marketing choices. So what's going on? In short, Google Ads is becoming more AI driven. That's not a surprise, right? We're seeing it too in SEO. We're getting more personalized search results, more algorithm-led decisions, and less of the old school set and forget approach. It also means that while the platform is offering more automation, it's becoming a bit more of a black box. It might feel easier to set up and run a campaign, but getting consistent results, that's becoming more complex and more reliant on your strategy, your messaging, and how well your website converts. I want to share what I've been noticing in the first half of 2025, what's working and what isn't, and what I think is going to matter even more going forward. And if you're on the fence about whether to try ads, or you've been told just set up a performance max campaign and watch the leads roll in, I want to give you a bit of a reality check. Not a harsh one, but a caring one. Because the truth is, ads can still work, but not for everyone. And definitely not without some thought behind them. So let's get into it. So what's actually changing in Google Ads right now? The biggest shift I'm seeing is how much the platform wants to do the thinking for you. That sounds helpful in theory, but in practice it means the tools are more powerful and also more unpredictable. Let's start with the rise of AI. Google has been quietly moving us forward towards automated decision making for years, but now it's front and center. Campaign types like Performance Max use machine learning to decide who sees your ad and where it appears and when, all based on signals you and I don't really have much access to. And while that may sound efficient, it can also be frustrating, because when things aren't working, it's harder to know why. There's less transparency. You can't just tweak a keyword and see a difference like you used to. The platform is acting, like I said, more like a black box. And that means your success depends on the quality of what you feed it. Which brings me to the next big change, the importance of your creative and your website. Google is placing more weight on relevance and experience. So even if your targeting is technically spot on, your ad might not perform well if the landing page doesn't convert or if your message isn't resonating. In other words, the tech is smarter, but it's also less forgiving if your offer or content is unclear. We're also seeing personalized search results becoming the norm, not the exception. What this means is that two people can search the exact same thing and see completely different results based on their search history, their geographic location, their behavior, and more. This is affecting both organic and paid search. Your ads might technically be showing, but they're not necessarily showing to everyone you expect. So if you're not already thinking about how your message lands with different types of people, now's the time. The algorithm is matching intent in increasingly subtle ways. And finally, budgets. Google Ads is still very scalable, but it's not cheap anymore. Small businesses can still run effective campaigns. But you need to be clear on what success looks like and be prepared to test and learn. There's no longer a guaranteed formula for a quick win. So with all that in mind, AI, personalization, less visibility into performance, what does that mean for you as a service-based business owner? How do you make sense of it all and know whether ads are the right move? Let's look at that next. So what does all of this actually mean for you? If you're a service-based business owner, especially one juggling a million things, it means Google Ads is no longer something you can just set up quickly and hope for the best. I know that might sound a little discouraging, but actually I think it's empowering. Because the businesses that take the time to do it properly, they're the ones who still get results. Here's the first thing I want you to know. Just because ads are easier to set up, it doesn't mean they're easier to succeed with. Google is encouraging advertisers to use more automation, especially with campaign types like Performance Max. And that means you can be up and running with just a few clicks. But the real work is in what happens before you press go. You need to know who you're speaking to, what you're offering them, and what counts as success for your business. Is it a phone call, a form completion, or a booking in your calendar? When those things are unclear, Google will happily spend your money, but it won't know what outcome you're aiming for. The second thing I'll say is, your ad copy and landing page are now doing a lot more of heavy lifting. With the rise of AI-led delivery, your ads are being shown to more people who might be interested based on behavior, intent, and all sorts of signals behind the scenes. But the moment they land on your site, they need to feel like they're in the right place. If your message isn't resonating or your form, the form you want them to fill in to contact you, is confusing, or there's no sense of trust, they're out of there in seconds. So if you've ever run ads and thought, why didn't this work? It might not have been the ad platform. It might have been what the click on that ad sent that person to. And lastly, strategy matters more than ever. You don't need a massive budget, but you do need clarity. Clarity on who you're helping, what you're offering, and how you'll know it's working. Otherwise, the platform makes assumptions and you end up with impressions, so that's people seeing your ad, clicks, and you'll see money being spent, but no meaningful results. So before you spend a cent, I always encourage business owners to ask, 1, is my offer clear? 2, is my website ready? And 3, am I ready to test and learn for a little while rather than expecting instant results? If yes, great. Let's look at the kind of campaigns that could work for you. So about the different types of Google Ads campaigns, gently and without the jargon. Because if you've ever opened up Google Ads and felt overwhelmed by all the choices, search, display, performance max, shopping, video, you're not alone. The good news is, as a service-based business, you probably only need to consider a couple of these. Let's walk through the ones I most often recommend and the ones I'd approach with caution. Search campaigns. These are the classic text ads that appear when someone is searching for a service. They can work beautifully for businesses offering something that's urgent, time sensitive, or locally relevant. So think physio near me, emergency plumbing, pest control, legal help. These are great if you know what keywords people search to find you. Your service solves a specific known problem, and you have a strong, clear landing page or website. But it's not ideal if your offer is vague or general, or you need to talk to people a little bit before figuring out what they need. And it's not ideal if you don't have a clear next step for the person to take. Then there's Performance Max. This one is Google's favorite at the moment because it uses a lot of AI to decide how to serve up your ads when and where. It uses AI to serve your ads across everything Google owns. That's search, YouTube, Gmail, Maps, display, shopping, all from the one campaign. It sounds pretty amazing, but it can also be a bit of a black box. You don't get much insight into where your ads are showing or why. You have to trust the machine to do its thing. Performance Max is great if you've already tested your offer and you know for certain that it converts. It's also great if you have strong creative assets. So that's images, videos, headlines, ones that you know for sure will get people's attention. And it's also great if you want to scale something that's already working. However, Performance Max is not great if you're just testing brand new offers or if you want full control or clarity over what your ads are doing. Next, let's talk about display campaigns. These are those banner-style ads that follow people around the internet, often on news websites and blogs and things like that. They're more for like brand awareness rather than direct lead generation, and they don't tend to perform well for service providers who are looking to get inquiries now. These might work if you're running a campaign for visibility or your remarketing, which is you want to show ads to people who previously visited your website but didn't take action. And these also work really well if you've got eye-catching visual content and a clear hook that gets people's attention. But they're not great for cold traffic or if you want leads with high intent to buy. Next, let's talk about local services ads. And these are only available in certain geographic areas, so just be aware of that. These are a bit different and they often show at the very top of Google search, often with a photo and a star rating. Think of it like as a directory listing or your map listing that you pay for. This is great if you're in a trade or a profession that Google supports, so tradies, cleaners, and some other types of services. It's also really great if you want phone call leads and have good Google reviews. But it's not available to all industries or locations, so just be mindful of that. So, the key takeaway here isn't you must use this one. It's that different campaigns do different jobs, and it's okay to start small. Often I'll recommend beginning with a very tightly targeted search campaign just to gather data. From there, we can build towards something like Performance Max or remarketing with display. Because when you start small and strategic, you learn what works. And once you know what works, you can grow with confidence. So, based on what I've seen so far this year and how things are trending, here are my honest predictions for where Google Ads is headed, especially for service-based businesses. And don't worry, these aren't wild guesses or hype-driven takes, just thoughtful observations that I hope will help you make better long-term decisions. So number one, AI will keep getting better and harder to control. Google's moving full steam ahead with automation. It's not just about Performance Max, even traditional campaign types are being nudged towards machine learning, from bidding strategies to targeting suggestions. That means your role as a business owner, or my role as a strategist, becomes less about choosing keywords and more about providing great inputs, strong headlines, clear offers, landing pages that work in capturing that audience member and making them feel heard and confident in taking the next step with you. So my prediction, those who try to fight the algorithm will feel frustrated. But those who learn to feed it with the right stuff will win. Number two, your messaging and brand will matter more than ever. In a world where the platform is doing more of the delivery work, what you say and how clearly you say it becomes the deciding factor. If your ad copy is vague or your offer doesn't feel relevant, the AI just won't know who to show it to. And worse, if it does show it to the right people who might be interested, but they don't connect with it, your campaign performance will quietly suffer. So going forward, I believe crafting a message that truly lands with your ideal audience will be more powerful than obsessing over technical settings. Number 3, organic and paid will need to work together. We're in a time now where paid and organic are blurring. Ads don't stand out alone anymore. They sit in a broader digital ecosystem. If someone clicks on your ad and lands on your website but sees outdated blog posts or unclear service descriptions, they bounce. If your organic presence doesn't back up what the ad promises, trust drops. My prediction: businesses that treat paid ads as part of a bigger marketing strategy, including SEO, content, and conversion optimization, will get better results and waste less money. Number 4, there will be fewer shortcuts, and that's a good thing. The quick win era of ads is fading, not because ads don't work, but because the tools are more advanced and the competition is sharper. The good news is, if you're thoughtful, strategic, and willing to test and learn, the results are still there. But if you're hoping for a plug-and-play, set-and-forget ad campaign, sorry, that's going to be harder to come by. So with all this in mind, AI, content, strategy, and the slow death of shortcuts, how do you know if you should run Google Ads this year? Let's wrap up with some guidance on who it's working for right now and whether it's worth pursuing for your business. So now, the big question: is Google Ads still worth it in 2025 for you? And my answer is, it depends. But let me walk you through a few things that can help you decide. You can start by asking yourself, is my offer clear? Can someone land on your website and instantly understand what you do, who you help, and how to take the next step? Google Ads is amazing at sending people to your website, but if what they find there is confusing, overwhelming, or vague, you'll pay for the click and get nothing in return. Ask yourself, is my website ready to convert? Do you have a clear call to action? Is it easy to contact you, book, or request a quote? If your site looks outdated, loads slowly, or makes people work too hard to take action, ads will just magnify those issues. And ask yourself, am I ready to test, not just expect instant success? This one is big. Google Ads in 2025 isn't a slot machine. It's a feedback loop. You run a campaign, see what happens, refine it, and grow from there. That takes time and patience. So who is it working for right now? From what I've seen this year, Google Ads tend to perform well for service businesses that 1. Have a clear specific offer, 2. Know what problems their clients are actively searching for, 3. Are targeting a local or niche market, 4. Have a website designed to convert, not just inform, and 5. Are willing to give it 1 to 3 months of testing and refining. And when it works, it really works. It brings in high intent leads, often from people who are ready to take action. And who should pause or wait? I usually advise holding off if you're not sure what your core service is yet, you don't have a website you're proud to send people to, you should wait if you're hoping ads will fix deeper issues in your marketing or messaging, and you should also hold off if you're feeling pressure to do ads just because everyone else is without knowing why. Because Google Ads is a great amplifier, but it can't fix what's unclear. So if you're still unsure, that's okay. The fact that you're listening to this and thinking it through, that already puts you ahead. So let's wrap up with a few final thoughts and where to go from here. So, is Google Ads still worth it in 2025? Yes, if you go in with clear eyes, a strong message, and the patience to learn. No, if you're hoping it will magically fix a slow business or a vague offer. I want you to know that it's okay to wait. It's okay to work on your website first. It's okay to test your message through unpaid channels before putting money behind it. In fact, that is something I say often. Don't pay to amplify a message that hasn't proven itself yet. If you do feel ready, maybe your website's in a good place, your offer is clear, and you just want help figuring out the strategy, reach out. This is what I do. I help business owners like you run thoughtful, intentional campaigns that don't waste money or overwhelm you. Or if you're not quite ready, but you've got questions swelling in your head, that's totally fine. Send me a DM or book a chat. There's no pressure. I'd rather help you make a grounded, informed decision than jump into something that you're not sure about. Just a quick note, I do offer ongoing ad management and hands-on tool support, like getting in the back end of your website or your ads account, but only on a very selective case-by-case basis. You're always welcome to ask me for advice, but just so we're clear, I'm not able to jump in and help with things like tag, code, or pixels on demand unless you're on an ongoing management plan or a website maintenance plan with me. If you are on one of those plans, your site will be regularly backed up by me, so if anything goes wrong, we've got a safety net. That said, I can still point you in the direction of some great tools and resources that might help. Take a look in the description or the comments for links to these tools and resources. And finally, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen and think through this with me. There's so much noise in the marketing world, and I deeply respect business owners who want to do things with intention. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next episode.
Hey, this is Lou Kozlevcha. I am a web designer and digital business consultant. I help therapists, coaches, and friendly locals get found and get chosen by more of the right customers. I do this with producing beautiful websites that are functional and user-friendly, and I help drive traffic with SEO and digital marketing services. If you found this content helpful, I'd love it if you could leave a like or a comment and share it with someone who you think might find it helpful. And if you have any questions to do with building your own website, or if you'd like to ask me anything about digital marketing, please don't hesitate to get in touch.